A calm morning to you and welcome to Waste Breakfast, hashtag What Are You Saying? The thought-provoking breakfast show for great enthusiasts and progressive minds. On this show, we explore fresh perspective, pressing discussions and inspiring stories through Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. My name is God's Beauty Israel, and I welcome you to the show this morning. As you already know, I am never doing this show alone. I'm always here with the best girls. But today, I'm having Okiki outside the country. Does that make sense? Hi, Okiki. Are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you this morning?
On Lagos Road, trying to get to the office.
I can understand. I can understand. I mean, given it's raining season here, I feel like most of us already have it at the back of our head that we're going to work. Actually, it's Monday. It's definitely going to be chaotic. So of course, I'm not expecting anything different. But tell me, how you feeling this morning? I mean, given it's also the seventh day of the seventh month, how does
It's,
this actually make you feel?
it's actually crazy because I got bus at 6 o'clock and
Okay,
I spent 40 minutes just getting to the bridge, another 35 minutes leaving the bridge. I don't know, it's crazy, but I don't know. When I woke up this morning, thinking about the seventh day of the seventh month was more of a Yoruba adage for me. My
tell
mom
me.
used to, as we grew up, my mom used to talk about July being the month of completion
Mm,
and the fact that when seven is like the month, that lucky number,
perfect.
that when you're praying, you're saying seven times, those kind of stuff. So when
Mm,
I woke up this morning, I saw that, okay, July 7th and it's 7 months, that, okay, this is the time that makes sense. Just like anybody's birthday, when you are maybe going to be 30 or something and you're going to be like 30 on the 30th, those kind of, quotes usually give
mm.
that fresh feeling. And that's how I felt this morning when I saw that it was the seventh day of the seventh month.
I love it. I think mine is actually, quite different from yours, to be honest. I mean, given that, first of it's my month, so happy birthday to me in Adi, right? And I feel like, I mean, it being the seventh day of the seventh month, I'm literally just, grateful, to be honest. I mean, just during the weekend that just passed, I completed a particular, film production. So first of it's my first time having to write series as a script writer, right? So I wrote a limited series for, I mean, the medical, setting. It was beautiful having to even be on set. And honestly speaking, not until I, witnessed what actors go through. Now I can now say that, you have to give kudos to every actor. Because, I mean, for a particular scene, they have to repeat the lines two, three, four times, sometimes even five, depending on how many actors are in a particular scene. And that's chaotic because there you're saying a particular word so many times. I mean, for those of us that have been, on set to see how these things work, you know that there's really a lot of work to put in. Honestly, it's one part for you to write, Another thing is to see people honestly, I'm just grateful because it was a lot, right? And like I said, this is like the first, my first, series that I'm actually putting out there. Shout out to, Mam Shade for putting me on this one, honestly, because I mean, waiting I know, I like to use that. Waiting I know for you to, see that I have a lot of, things to bring to the table and just you bringing me on it. It was really a beautiful one. So I think for me, it's just based on reflection, given how I've started, where I am today and definitely where I'm going to. It's just a beautiful one. I just feel grateful, honestly. That's, what I'm feeling right now. And for my audience, I'd like you guys to tell me, given that it's the seventh day of the seventh month, how does it feel, for you? How are you feeling? I mean, are you, is it based on gratitude? I just want to know what you're feeling. You guys, put it on the comment section. And yes, if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, I really don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe now at official of Great TV. Click the subscribe button, like and share the link. All right, today we're taking on an important conversation: the grassroots and policy implementation. With the local government elections coming up, July 12th. Yes, that's on Saturday. Do you know why you should vote for who and why exactly you should even be there? Are you even aware? Let's even start with that there's an election coming up. And do you even know what the voting is going to be looking like? Well, I hope our viewers at home and wherever you're watching me from, you're able to answer these questions by yourself. And honestly, we're going on a short break right now, and when we return, we'll take you through the top stories across the globe. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Glad to have you back from that break. Now let's take a look at the news from the pages of today's newspaper. Today we did highlight the top stories from the Punch, Vanguard, and of course the New York Times. I'll take you straight into what the New York Times has for us today. So at the front page, by the right-hand side, we have Camps Angoni is felt deeply across Texas. And next to that, we have for Democrats, path on immigration is perilous. Then next to that as well, we have states brazen as Trump law shifts burden. Bottom of the newspaper at the media, we have at Hampton, if you have to ask. The next to that, which is the last headline on the newspaper, has Jackson strikes an early court of vocal dissent and warnings. So the headline I'll be taking on says, states brazen as Trump law shifts burden. So we have here in details, the ink is not even dry on the far-reaching domestic policy law that President Trump signed on Friday. And already state governments are bracing for impact as Washington shifts much of the burden for healthcare, food assistance, and other programs onto them. Now, Governor J.B., that's a legislative leader, as he says that this particular special section might have to do with having to do with the new law, right? And says even though the recent past state budgets already includes $100 million to cover shortfalls in federal funding. So he's complaining that this particular policy that the Trump has, implemented is the burden is definitely going to be, too much. Now, this is not just one governor complaining about it. Even another Democrat, Governor Katie, is of Arizona, is also complaining as she has warned that the state's $1.6 billion emergency fund will be insufficient to weather what's coming, because even if even if we cut every single thing in the state, we don't have the money to backfill all those cuts. I just hope that with all of these things that they have stated, that Trump would, put into consideration. I feel like at this point, anytime we're talking about policies, in the United States, I'm actually believing that before Trump, implements anything or signing anything, he has, thought about it thoroughly to ensure that whatever that is signing in is something that would be very beneficial to not just himself, but to the citizens of the country. Because we've said it so many times, me especially, right, that it's one thing to say you're doing everything possible to ensure that the economic growth of the society, of the country is growing, but then you have to also look at the downfall of these things. If you take out a particular cut from a sector and put it somewhere else, how exactly do you ensure that that particular sector would not feel the impact of that cut that you've taken out? Do you understand? So the fact that these governors are already complaining, I mean, the law was signed on Friday, and on Monday morning today they're already complaining about it without them even seeing the full stretch of the policy, right? I mean, he actually just it will make us want to ask what exactly is going on. So like I said, I'm actually believing that Trump is at that point. I mean, with everything that has happened, we guys, if you remember, I mean, for those of us that have been following the stories back to back, there's a time we had a trade war, not just between United States and the EU, even with China and some other countries, I mean, back then you could actually see that it was really a lot. And like I would always say, this kind of policies, when implemented, it's not just, you would not feel, you as the leader, you might not really feel the brunt, but then the people that would feel the brunt is, the citizens, because they are the ones that at the last end of each of those policy. So I just hope that this particular policy, as he has implemented it or he has signed it since on Friday, I just hope that they will see the reason why these policies are even put in the first place, and they will not just feel the brunt alone. Because with governors complaining, there's definitely a problem somewhere. Well, that's all I have for you on the New York Times today. I can't wait to hear what Okiki has for us. Okay, we can barely hear you. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said so that we can get the best of our guests. I'll just take one story from the Guardian newspaper, and the state will be a strong 10.7 presidential seat as we prepare to begin taxation. And I think last week we talked about how this coalition is even already unprepared against the so-called administration that they want to take over. And they were seeing so many speculations that are people saying that
Okay, so I'm guessing that Okiki is having serious issues. I mean, we can barely even hear what she has to say and all. But then let's just take. Let me just quickly read a few headlines that we have. I'll start from the Guardian newspaper. So we have here at just beneath the masthead, we have the NLC once again removal of labor issues from exclusive legislative list. Then next to that, we have tariff hikes, slow new phones and phone lines, activation as operators get ultimatum. Then next to that, we have more Nigerians losing faith in Tinubu government, public institutions poll reviews. I think that's a bit catchy there. More Nigerians losing faith in Tinubu government, public institutions poll reviews. I just hope that with this one we are seeing here, we would actually see that, the reflection 2027. I mean, even with the whole coalition issues or stories we've been hearing over time, it's quite funny, but at the end of the day, it just makes us understand that every most of the time, most of these people that you see run for office are literally just there, or just, running for office for their pockets, not really because they have interest in ensuring that, we see the good use and, I mean, the reason why they are even there in the first place, right? So there's this one I see here, which says, that's the main headline on the Guardian newspaper. We have oil theft eased despite 25.7 billion losses, billion dollars losses in 23 years as operators turn barrage. So one thing I would say on this oil matter is the fact that I think there are a lot of good things that what's his name, Dangote is actually doing. I mean, I've been following the energy story for a long time now. even though the prices are a bit, I mean, you just hear 40 naira discount or 40 naira reduction and all. So even though, I mean, thinking about it, it's just like 14 naira. But then for those people that, getting like full tank and all, I mean, you know that it's a lot of work. You can understand. And there was a time when we used to get fuel for over 2,000 naira. 1.5, 1.3. I remember, very crazy prices during the time, Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy, right? But right now we're getting fuel for around 800, 900. I mean, depending on, the location or, the environment. So I think that to some extent, I mean, that's good work, right? Then I think there was this initiative I had recently that, what's his name? Dangote himself is also thinking of, using the what's the name of this thing now? This fuel, gas compressed natural, what's the CNG, yes, CNG buses. So he's thinking of using that initiative to, send fuel, distribute fuel to different locations. And instead of him having to spend fuel in doing that, I mean, thinking about it, right, I feel like that is actually a very good work. Even though, I mean, having to invest in that now, it's actually going to be a lot. But then I know for sure that Dangote is a risk taker. I mean, given where the oil refinery is right now, you know that his refinery, where the refinery is right now, you know that there's really a lot of work to do. And given his kind of person, I mean, I've studied him for quite some time now, and you know for sure that he's not someone to just sit. He's someone to always ensure that something keeps working. So I can't wait to see what that looks like, that initiative. And I just hope that he gets the funds that he needs. I mean, investment-wise now. And he's able to do that. Because imagine, we have Dangote having to distribute, say every retailer, that's every, fuel station. See, the price of fuel would probably just be 500 naira soon. I mean, I don't know, but looking at the statistics, it's looking like it. Well, let me quickly take you to the Punch, as we have here, 10 states borrow 417 billion naira despite higher allocations. What exactly is going on? Why we still having borrowing, I mean, in the newspapers? I don't think it's something that we should be excited about. I mean, given where we are in this country, is it not possible for us to look at our source of revenues or source of income rather, and look for a way to, balance it? Then having to borrow every time, like 10 states borrow 417 billion naira. That's a lot of money. And you know how it is now. We always want to ask, what exactly are they using this money for? What thing did they use this money do? See, it reached to enter pigeon on this one. We need to know exactly what. See, it's one thing for you to come and tell us that this. That's you being honest. But can you be transparent? You get it. I feel like that's something that we don't see here in the country, right? They always tell us the figures. You hear the amount. Sometimes I always wonder if these people are being truthful. Like, how exactly are you, borrowing such amount of money? Where exactly are you putting it in? Do you understand? They should give us that fact so that we know exactly where the money is going to, and so that we can have a relaxed mind that, oh, okay, maybe true, these people, they work. Oh. You get me? All right, the other headline I would want to bring out is Nigeria's unity under attack from terrorists, separatists. This is said by Tinubu. So, I feel like this is something that we've always been battling with, right? Terrorism, banditry and all. I really don't know. I mean, it all boils down to the fact that, we are still dealing with insecurity in the land. And I really don't know when we are going to take care of that. I mean, I see to some extent some of the good work or initiative and, certain bills that have been signed, in the energy sector, from our president, Tinubu. But I really don't know what he's doing to ensure that, the insecurity and all of these other things that we complain about, are being taken care of. But again, I think it's one step at a time. So maybe, I don't know, this is me being a righteous person and not dragging anybody out. So maybe, there could be something that, he's doing and he doesn't want us to know yet. But I just hope that before he leaves it, or before 2027, we are to some extent taking care of insecurity in the land. All right, let's go on the short break, guys, to start the story proper, the topic for today. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back to the show. Today's topic is quite crucial and must be talked about: the grassroots and policy implementation. Now, as we approach the local government elections in Lagos State on July 12, 2025, it's crucial to recognize the significance of grassroots participation in shaping the future of our communities. Now, effective policy implementation and democratic governance rely heavily on the active engagement of citizens in the electoral process. Let's explore the key issues, challenges, and opportunities that can impact the outcome of these elections and the future of our state. Now, grassroots and policy implementation are crucial aspects of democratic governance, particularly in the context of elections in Nigeria, focusing on the Lagos State. Now, we'll quickly talk on the importance of local government elections. Now, local government elections are the vital instrument for deepening democracy and ensuring inclusive governance rather. Now, these elections provide citizens with the power to choose leaders who are directly accountable to them, influencing decisions that directly impact daily life. Now, in Lagos State, the forthcoming local government elections on July 12, 2025 present an opportunity for citizens to shape the future of their communities. Now, some key issues in grassroots policies implementation include: one, we have electoral reforms, right? Now, Nigeria has implemented various electoral reforms, such as the BVAS, we have the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's INEC, then results viewing portal to enhance transparency and credibility. But the question is, do we actually see this at work? Okay, we have also voter apathy. Now, we have low civil engagement, and voter apathy can lead to unaccountable leaders and undermine the democratic process. Of course, electoral violence cannot be taken out. Electoral violence and security failures are significant challenges that can undermine the legitimacy of elections. Now, talking about the role of technology in enhancing electoral processes, technology has played a significant role in enhancing electoral processes in Nigeria. I mean, we've seen what the BVAS can actually do, right? As it helps reduce multiple voting and ensure that only eligible voters cast ballots, but it's still, marred with manipulations, as we can see. Then the next one, we have the INEC results viewing portal, allows, citizens to view elections results in real time, enhancing transparency and accountability. But we've also heard that there's some manipulations going on. Nigeria, my great country. All right, electronic candidate nomination. INEC's online portal for candidate nomination has improved transparency and reduced last-minute substitutions. Now, despite these innovations, challenges persist, including infrastructural gaps, weak infrastructure such as low internet coverage and unstable power has hindered the effective use of technology in elections. We also have lack of independence. INEC's lack of independence and inadequate funding has undermined its effectiveness in conducting credible elections. Emphasis on that, actually. There are so many others that I can actually list. But of course, we have a guest who is joining us virtually. His name is Ayoyinka Oni. Now, Ayoyinka is a chairman of African Action Congress, AAC, in Lagos State. He has been involved in various activities, including participating in a roundtable dialogue on local government elections and other pressing issues affecting the state. Ayoyinka has also been vocal about governance and social justice, condemning actions he sees as unconstitutional, such as the Lagos State House of Assembly plan to create area administrative councils. There's a lot happening. But of course, that's why we have Ayoyinka with us, so that we can, talk about these issues that we see trending on, on elections. And given that we have the July 12th election coming up, it's important that we address some of these things. Welcome, Ayoyinka, to, Waste Breakfast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm fine. Can't complain.
This one, you have to think about it. Are you sure you're fine?
Well, that's the regular answer of Nigerians, but actually, I'm not fine. We're either busy, tired, they are genuine answers. So I would say I'm very busy, but I'm managing my time as much as I can.
I love it. Well done. All right, let's go straight into the discussion for today. What are your thoughts on the forthcoming local government elections in Lagos? And how do you think citizens can ensure effective grassroots policy implementation?
Thank you so much. Well, the local government election in Lagos is coming, and I have beyond thoughts. I have live interactions and events that have unfolded throughout the period of the planning and everything, as we have like 5 days or less to the election. First is to state clearly that Lagosians have been very in our electoral process. It's not an excuse to stay.
I'm guessing, Okay. Irene, are you still with us? Okay. Okay, Kay, are you with us?
Okay, let the best go on.
So, what do you think about, this discussion we're having today?
Am I still online?
Okay, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Oh, sorry, did you lose me for some time?
Yes, we did. I think because of, the network and all. But then you can go on what you were saying.
All right. So due to that, there's a low interest in electoral process, especially local government election. But what some of us have done with our positions is to galvanize people to make sure that they are out so that they can exercise their constitutional rights. But to be frank and to speak clearly to issues, the electoral body has not prepared properly. There have been a lot of rushing, and this default is clearly from the Lagos State government, the House of Assembly, and the governor himself, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And why am I saying that? They had public hearing for the amendment of the Electoral Law of 2008, and they refused to conclude the hearing, and they went on a chaotic fight in the House of Assembly in January, and did not pass the law publicly. And all of a sudden, Babajide Sanwo-Olu appointed a commission to be headed by Justice Igile of the LISEC and some commissioners. And we were surprised. Why are you appointing a chairman and commissioners, permanent secretary, when the law that will even be used to conduct the election has not been passed? But when we went for a meeting with the commissioner, with the commission and the chairman, she stated that the law was passed January 10. We did not see where the law was passed. Was it done privately? You know, but to confirm our statement by saying there was no law passed, just 2 weeks ago, the House of Assembly was sending a query to the Attorney General's office in Lagos where they are delaying passing of the electoral law 2008 as amended. So when you are going to an election where the law is faulty, where the Supreme Court judgment is not obeyed, where Constitution is not being obeyed, then definitely we are foreseeing a lot of problems. Ordinarily, political parties should not support that this election even go, because you are going into it with a false law. But if you leave the process for them, they are going to of us are getting involved. So it is a mess from the beginning, and we have to clearly state that.
Thank you very much, Yinka.
Okay, are you with us? Okay.
Yes, I'm with you.
Go on.
I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on, please.
Okay, so I said that I would really love to know what Yinka's view is on the use of technology during the electoral process. I remember very well that in 2021 and 2020 issue with how the elections went. So particularly about the BVAS and the INEC viewing portal, that's the IREP. What's your view on this new technology that was brought in 2023, and how do you think that this should be better addressed moving forward, especially for the July election coming up?
If technology is going to work properly, there has to be people with integrity behind it. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the BVAS and the system in the last election, but for the fact that people without integrity were involved and they decided to manipulate it. How does the BVAS work? You conduct an election, you have the sheets, you snap, and you upload to the system. Very simple. Now, the excuse that was given in the last election was that there was no network to upload. Even if there's no network to upload, you have snapped this document. You have snapped it. The polling unit agents have also snapped it. Everybody has a copy. So when you eventually upload, you cannot in any way manipulate. But when they want to manipulate, they refuse to use it. And in the presidential election in 2023, they were using Excel sheets, to be recording results when you already have an online system, and imputing sheets right after they have concluded the election. It's not supposed to be so. So the reason why these BVAS are not working properly and people are still complaining and there's still a lot of rigging is because the people behind are intentionally rigging even that technology. But ordinarily, it is a beautiful one, because what is it, as I said, you conduct an election with sheets, everybody has written, signed documents by polling agents and all. The polling agents snap it, this is our result, I have evidence. And the supervising officers of the election also snap and upload. And right where the commissions are, they are seeing the result. Everybody's seeing the result. You can go online and be seeing the result. Nobody can rig that kind of election. But when you still want to rig an election, you make excuses. Beautiful technology, billions spent, but we are still using it to rig ourselves. It's just a shame in this country.
This is really, really sad. Thank you so much, Yinka. We'll go on a short break, and of course, we'll continue the conversation from there. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We're, of course, having a conversation regarding, the elections. And given that we have July 12th election coming up, it's important that we have these conversations, of course. Now I want to ask Ayoyinka, what electoral reforms would you advocate for to enhance the credibility and legitimacy of elections in Nigeria? Just like you stated earlier, I mean, we have all of this technology, put in place to ensure that we see transparency and credibility. But then you also see that certain persons are intentional that we don't even get that. What electoral reforms would you, advocate for to ensure that we are even able to see this transparency and credibility?
So first, the president or the governor cannot be choosing the electoral umpire. That is the first. There must be a system in place that will make these people to be professional career electoral officers. Independent, the Electoral Commission, either the state, INEC or LISEC or whichever state, is a commission. And there are people that have been working there for years, career people that have been in that commission. They should grow within the ranks normally and become the head of that commission. It should not be a political appointment. There's absolutely no way in a country where people respect men and power and money more than they respect the system. There's no way the president will appoint a chairman of an electoral body and that chairman will not favor the president. There's absolutely no way. This is not China or Japan. These people will kill you if you do corruption. Yeah, they don't kill people for corruption. Yeah, you will steal and people will still be respecting you. You will steal and you will still be honored. So that is the beginning of the problem. The law should be passed that the president of the governor cannot appoint. It should be career professional step. Oh, you are in level 12 now. You are here. That should be. The same thing goes for all other parastatals, the police, the soldier, and everything. The president cannot be appointing these people. They will not. Than the people that appointed them. That is the force. They punish people that election. There should be law upon people because people collect money to rig election. You are dealing with thugs that want to rig. You are dealing with politicians that want to rig. Now you are not dealing with electoral officers that also help them to rig. If the thugs and the politicians attempt to rig and the electoral officers that will prevent them, wonderful. But no, this is not the case. What happens every time is that the thugs and the politicians want to rig. The electoral officers have been paid to allow them to rig. And people have evidences, pictures, videos. But in no time, you can go and check. Has anybody been punished in this country for rigging election? It has never happened. So when there are strict laws that say you rig election, you have 10 years imprisonment, you rig election, you have 15 years imprisonment, and there are examples that you can point to, people will sit up. Nobody wants to go to jail. The only people that enjoy prison in this country are people that are very rich. If you are a simple electoral officer that earns about 300,000, 400,000, you will suffer in prison. It's billionaires and millionaires that enjoy prison. So nobody wants to go to jail if people are really punished for it. And same thing to go for politicians. And finally, let me say this, very strict, but it will work. Political parties that their candidates are found rigging elections should also. What will this do? This will help to make sure when political parties are bringing in candidates out to their primaries, they go for people with integrity, people that would not want to soil the name of the party, because they know that when you rig, maybe as a local government chairman or as a councillor or you are going for House of Assembly, when you rig, it affects the party. The party will be penalized. Nobody wants the party to be penalized regularly. They will fire better people. But when the party is not penalized and a candidate rig and you are calling the party chairman and say, I'm not involved, and he's just lying. What has he done? They are saying, well, go and rig, but don't mention my name. Exactly what is happening. But when they are penalized, Passes are penalized regularly, and I'm going to give you an example of penalty. Example, you rig in Shomolu for council for House of Assembly, and after that rigging, your candidate is punished. There are evidences. It goes to prison. You are not allowed to contest in that place for the next electoral cycle. Everybody will stop. These are street good electoral implementation that can be done to curb rigging. But I can tell you that no matter the reform that is done anywhere, these people will not be, because it is the people that are rigging that are also reforming. Let me stop there.
Thank you very much, Yinka. You said words right out of my mouth, because I've said it that if there are no penalties for defaulters, then Nigeria will continue to remain the way it is. But I've noticed that there's been voter apathy most times when it comes to local government elections, especially in Lagos. But looking towards a progressive Nigeria, or Lagos, if we're going to start with, how do you think that we can address voter apathy and maybe for some reason promote civic engagement amongst Lagos State residents, so that when July 12th comes and they can actively come out to vote?
I must say that the government is not helping, and they are not interested to help. They want to rig the election, and they cannot do it if there's a massive turnout. So they prefer when people that they want to come out comes out to vote. People that they pay money, they are loyalists and all that. Genuine Nigerians that need, in this country, over 50 million people did not vote in the last election. We had about 85 million eligible voters. And we had about maybe just 29 million or so that voted. If you are even going to add the rigging, to be less than that. So there are 50 million people sitting in their house with voters cards that are saying, well, I'm not interested in this. And why are they not coming out? Because you open your system or open your phone, you see people flogging people in the election before election, people ringing bell and say, if you're not from this tribe, don't come out. People threatening you physically right on your face, right in your doorstep and all that. All those things are intentional, and the government wants it to keep happening. The solution I can give to Nigerians is they should come out. How do you do what is right? By doing exactly what people don't want you to do. In their numbers, and I've said it, there's no talk that can suppress the people. And I can give you numerous examples. I'm not just a politician, I'm an activist. And I've faced talks so many times. And how do we win them? It's numbers. There's no talk with their cutlass and sticks that can overcome 100,000 people on the street, or 10,000 people, or 5,000 people. 10 people will overpower you. How? You will beat them and hand them over to the police. We did it in many of our protests. So they should come out in their numbers and massify their polling units. That is the solution, because all what they are doing is to prevent you from coming out. There's no education that's going to be greater than this. You're not going to beg people to allow you to vote. It's your right. You're not going to say, Joy, no. You have to mobilize yourself in your street and say, we can't continue like this in this community. We can't continue like this in this ward. We can't continue like this in this territorial zone. We must come out and vote right. That is the solution. When Nigeria do that in their numbers, then the rest is going to be history. You overcome your fear, and from that on, you start coming out for more elections. And even vying as candidate yourself.
Thank you so much, Ayoyinka. To be honest, I agree with you 100%. Because, if you look at it, to actually ensure effective grassroots policy implementation, citizens must participate actively in the electoral process. So I agree with you 100%. Now, there are a few things I think is important for us to actually emphasize on. One is voting. Citizens should exercise their right to vote and choose leaders who are accountable to them. Even though, it's quite a dicey thing for us to, if we start dissecting it, just like, Ayoyinka has earlier stated, there are really a lot of things. When you think that, the technology that we have on ground should actually help us get, credibility and transparency, but then you see that the people that are even supposed to ensure that this technology are working are the ones even, doing the whole, corruption, but will be all right eventually. Now, citizens should engage with their leaders and demand accountability and transparency in governance, and that's exactly what, Ayoyinka is saying. When you see that one particular person is, defaulting or is into corruption, it's important that, we come out in our numbers and ensure those persons are behind bars. I think with those few things, we'll be able to see, the democracy that we are actually, desiring. Then lastly, I would say that citizens should advocate for electoral reforms to promote transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. And I think that's exactly what Ayoyinka has helped us do. Thank you so much, Ayoyinka, for, joining and contributing insightfully to this conversation. And of course, my co-anchor, Okikiola, thank you so much for being here with me. And of course, to my viewers, thank you for joining us on this important discussion. Do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagement. And remember to like, share, and comment. And of course, invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. Have a wonderful day ahead. I understand that rain is falling. But of course, have a wonderful day ahead. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?